All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome. Let's see who's in here. Let me know who's in the live stream, in the chat. Welcome guys. Okay, so today we're gonna do things a little bit more differently. So I'm gonna give you guys an exclusive access and view on the newsletter, a specific segment of the newsletter, and give you guys a full rundown of the trade room in the private CFO Discord. So today is going to be a treat here for you all. Now pay attention because I'm gonna go about this very slowly. Alright, so today is most likely gonna be just a day of review. I'm probably gonna have, I'm not gonna have time to be able to go through some tickers that you guys are watching. And again, most likely I won't even need to because tomorrow, June CPI data comes out, which means the market will most likely negate or invalidate whatever name or chart pattern that you're looking at for tomorrow. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with the market summary from this week's CFO Swinger Watch newsletter. So this is the newsletter that is sent out to my private members every single week. Okay, so let me actually make sure I give you guys, okay, perfect. This is the right one. So, as seen right here, this is the newsletter for this week, which was sent out on Sunday night. Okay, so July 10th to 14th of this week. And here is the market summary. So let's read it all together. So first off, that energy watch list that I gave everyone last week, Oxy, XOM, APA, CVX, and SLV took off. So I gave my private CFO members a small watch list to look at for oil names because I told my members for the last 2 months that in mid-summer, energy will start to grind up higher. All right, and that's exactly happening right now, right? And it's the middle of summer. So that one was 100% correct there, okay? And I said, it looks like it's finally time for the mid-summer energy plays that I have been talking about for the past 2 to 3 months. That is another reason why I gave out that ERX swing trade on Friday, so last Friday. You can still get in on XLE, and if you're not comfortable with trading leveraged names. So with the amount of volume that came in on Friday for the entire energy sector, I think we can have ourselves a good run for the rest of the month. And so if you guys check XLE and ERX and all individual energy names that I mentioned here and I gave to my CFO Swing Watch members, my private members last week, okay, you guys can tell that the mid-summer energy plays are kicking in. And again, I have been talking about the fact that energy is going to find a bottom and we'll be able to play bounces on energy names for the past 2 to 3 months. All right, so if you guys are liking what I'm saying here, make sure you guys hit that like button down below. Hey Joe, what's up? If you guys are in here right now, send a message in the live chat room. I want to see who's in. Hey, what's up? Nothing. What's up? What's up? Okay, so make sure you guys check this on your respective screens. All right, OXY, XOM, APA, CVX, and SLB. All right, all of them took off. Now, again, I've been telling everyone in my private CFO Discord community that energy is going to be rising higher and finally stop being such a downer on the other entire market, okay? Since it's one of the lagging sectors of the entire market. And so hopefully, you guys can get a trade in the energy sector, whether it be on XLE or ERX as the leveraged energy sector name, or you guys can play individual names. Okay, now with that in mind, let's continue to read. Now another sector that I'll be taking another shot at is the real estate sector. Remember when I gave you guys the seasonality trends for the month of July? Real estate was one of the best performing sectors for the month of July, along with the small caps asset class, which is why I have been so obsessed with looking at IWM leading up to July. And so with the really good strength leading into the end of last week, I expect to have another great swing trade in our hands, as the last one gave us 220% in just a couple of days. That's right. So the private members and I were able to catch a 220% swing trade on XLRE. All right, so that is the ticker for the real estate sector, okay, XLRE. All right, so we're still looking for another leg up higher on that name. So continue to watch that name, because if you guys aren't, well, you guys might just FOMO into the name, because again, according to seasonality trends, real estate is the #1 sector, or one of the best performing sectors for the month of July and into the end of July as well. Okay, now let's continue reading. Now I gave you all the reasons why we have such seasonality trends during the summer season the past few weeks, but you guys have to understand that during the summer months we tend to get topping price action in the overall markets. I mentioned this last week that in mid-July we tend to top out, and the performance of the overall markets becomes very, very weak until the end of Q3. So somewhere between August and September, we start to slow down in kind of the pullback that we will most likely see somewhere around mid to late July. Now, there are a lot of factors that can cause this to happen, but I think there's one big factor that is happening right now. So, retail traders are starting to come back into the market, chasing this market run. Remember when I told you that record cash was still sitting on the sidelines, even if the market was going up higher? Well, it seems like those bearish investors and traders who missed out on this entire rally since the October and December bottoms are finally giving up and putting their cash to use. And so this type of chasing can usually provide liquidity for the big money / smart money to sell and exit out of their positions at great prices. This is called exit liquidity. All right, and some may find this unfair, but this is the reason why we have two groups during uncertainty: smart money and dumb money. Right, smart money and dumb money. And again, exit liquidity is what smart money wants to see in order for them to exit out the positions for great profit. So this could definitely be a sign that the near-term top is up, which would be perfect since we tend to have a top forming in the markets in midsummer, especially after a market run during the first half of the fiscal year. Okay, and so as seen in the chart below, we historically have the worst performing months in August and September, which comes after July, if you guys didn't know that. And with the Nasdaq running the show with the Nasdaq running the show right since the start of this market rally, if the overall tech market starts to turn over, the entire market will follow along, right? Because Nasdaq has been the leading market. The tech sector has been the leading sector for this entire run up. And so if that sector decides to pull back, well, the other markets will start to follow along, right? Or the other asset classes. Now, of course, seasonality trends are not an exact science, so we can't really know aside. Oops, there we go. There we go. So we can't really know aside from the seasonality trend of the months, as we are seeing technical evidence of a potential top. Okay. Now, the gap ups and downs that we had in just last week. So if you guys take a look at SPY for last week, right, plus the wild price ranges in action, tells us that an intermittent top is about to be formed. And I'll go over SPY. So SPY right now has a heavy level of resistance or area at $444. So it's a matter of time before we either break to the upside or we use that as a topping level, and CPI comes out somehow bad and we start to move to the downside. All right, or even CPI might be good tomorrow and we might even move to the downside, right? Because all these seasonality trends that are pointing to one single decision for the market, which is to top out. Now, okay, so whenever we are near a bottom or a top of a downtrend or an uptrend respectively, lots of chasing and selling goes on, causing that price volatility. And so this is starting to happen across the markets as we begin to cool down from the run up that we had since the start of this year. Ideally, all of this observable evidence from the markets and from seasonality trends will correlate with each other to give us that midsummer top before bottoming somewhere between the end of quarter 3 and the start of quarter 4. So this is the chart that I sent to my private members on Sunday night, right? So this is kind of the seasonality trend of the Nasdaq and the Russell 2000. But this chart is really relevant right now because we know that Nasdaq has been leading the markets since the start of this year, right? Actually, even after we bottomed out in December, okay? And so that is the reason why I've been telling you guys about seasonality trends, the sector rotations, right? And I've been giving you guys a little hints here and there in these public live streams, right? But I've been giving all the juicy details to my CFO members and students, all my private members and students, because again, my job here is to help you guys be able to navigate the markets as well as possible, right? Because the markets are, well, it is an environment of uncertainty. And so a little percentage of certainty will help people navigate through the markets a lot better, even if it's 10%, 5%, right? So now let me continue here with the last section. Okay, so this is kind of the most important one here that I want to kind of mention, right? So now when we tend to get a top, we always see a constant flux of sector rotations. And simultaneously, people want to be in sectors that are considered quote unquote safe and tangible, like commodities, oil names, or general energy names, right? So this kind of goes along with the fact that I said energy names will most likely start to bottom out around midsummer. And real estate, housing, home builders, and etc., and communication services, right? So these are all very good sectors that we would like to most likely see an uptrend for the rest of the summer. And right now we're seeing evidence of that for real estate and commodities like oil, Now, this may explain why sectors like real estate and commodities like copper and silver tend to do well in the month of July if the market tops out. And again, what is every evidence and technical evidence pointing to? That the market will most likely top out somewhere around mid-July, right? I've been telling my private members this for weeks. So expect to see a lot of price volatility, sector rotations, and money constantly flowing in and out from individual names. And overall average trading volume tends to fall as we head into the peak of summer, so we can definitely see some very boring trading days for the rest of this summer season. Now, this does not mean that we should be bored out of our minds, right? We can start paying attention to some other areas like international markets. And so guys, if you guys have seen my Instagram story, go ahead and take a look at that. All right, I posted something very, very recently, okay? And it's about Indian markets, all right? And this is kind of what I was trying to say in my Instagram story that relates to the market summary of this week's CFO Swing Watch newsletter, okay? So I said the Japanese markets have been riled up in the recent weeks as it was revealed that Warren Buffett was piling in money into some legacy Japanese companies. And then the Indian market, right? So this is where it correlates to the story that I put up on my Instagram, right? I literally said this even before, okay, CNBC posted this post today about India. All right, so make sure you guys take a look at that on my Instagram story. So the Indian markets have been seeing some optimism and hype as American companies like Apple are investing heavily into manufacturing from India after the entire manufacturing debacle from China since COVID-19 began. Okay, and right now, China could be seeing a potential collapse in the manufacturing sector. All right, so that's something that I'll tell my CFO Swing Watch members. I'll kind of go deeply into detail, but that's a little hint. Chinese manufacturing sector might see a slight depression for the next, for the rest of the decade. All right. Now, many more companies worldwide are following along as they pour investments into India. And all this international activity is beginning to spur another sleeping dragon, okay? China. So you guys should know that Chinese tech names and, well, every single Chinese name has been just pile driven to the ground, right? They've been slapped with shorts all the way to the ground, right? For all of last year and even into this year. But with international markets gaining attention from US investors and traders, okay? And for the fact that we had a huge short squeeze from Alibaba on Friday, okay? Chinese names are fundamentally seeing some optimism again. And it comes at a great time, right? As more people are looking at emerging markets and overall international markets. And if you guys want to know the ticker symbol for emerging markets, look up EEM, okay? EEM. That is what most traders and investors tend to look at for the emerging markets, I guess, quote unquote, sector. Okay, so EEM is the Emerging Index Fund. Okay, it's the MSCI Emerging Index Fund. Now, Alibaba's news was not good since the CCP, or the Chinese Communist Party, officially ended their investigation / crackdown onto their financial group, the Ant Group, with one big fine of nearly $1 billion. And so the other famous tech company, Tencent, was also relieved of this crackdown as well with one big fine. So, could this be the end to the crazy government crackdowns on the Chinese private sector? Many investors think so, okay, as money began to flow into a lot of big tech Chinese names. And if you guys want to capture some of these large moves altogether, let's not forget about the holdings named FUTU. And guess what? The biggest investor into this holding is Tencent. All right. And remember, I mentioned that the other big tech company, Tencent, other than Alibaba, was also relieved of the crackdown with one big fine. And even Yin, the opposite of Yang, which is the China Bull 3 times leveraged ETF. You guys can check that out. And so Futu hasn't moved too much so far after this huge news / bullish catalyst, so we will definitely watch it for this week. Now there are other Chinese names that are lagging behind, so we will look at them as listed down below. Right, so that was the entire market summary. It was short, but it summarized what we had to do for this week, right? And also, we have CPI, but I didn't mention CPI. Why? Well, I was telling my private members and also to all of you guys who are watching the live streams here, right, the public live streams, that in 2023, the markets will become desensitized to important economic indicators and data, plus the Federal Reserve's actions. I've been saying this since the start of this year, literally, right? I've been saying this over and over again. So if you guys haven't heard me say it, then you guys were just paying attention, right? So make sure you guys are paying attention so that you guys know what I am saying is true. So, you know, I didn't really need to mention CPI because again, the markets will most likely move slightly here and there, right? But it's not going to affect too much of our positions because again, right now, the markets are barely moving, but individual names are getting attention, right? And whenever I see that, we tend to top out in the markets. Okay, so that was the entire market summary. Hopefully that was very, very helpful for you guys, right? And if you guys want to know more, make sure you guys DM me, right? If you guys want to join, make sure you guys DM me. Just DM me on Instagram at chartsfocus1. Okay, now let's go over some great trades that we took from the newsletter. Roblox, right? So this is the technical setups section for the newsletter. So here's what I said. All right, you guys should know why we are looking at this name. This tight coiling that is currently occurring for this name is really hard to ignore. Yes, it is probably way too obvious, but the levels that are forming within this price range of $38.50 and $43 is way too good to just brush off. And we will need to wait for the actual breakout from this coiled up range over 43. But if you want to get in early, that $42 whole number level is perfectly fine as well. And if you guys are, if you guys were my private members, you guys should have known that we did roll up into our contracts and we actually got in even below $42 or even $43, right? So obviously we'll go over that today, but we had an absolutely crushing day for Roblox. Now, I also said that we ended up with the weekly inside candlestick with my weekly 10 and 21 estimates all curling upwards. This bodes well for the price action and trend as we could be nearly ready for a breakout from this tight base chart pattern. And once we do break out from there, we want the price to pierce into the gap down as seen in the red circle here on the chart and start filling it in. And this name should be hitting $46 once it does that. Okay, so that was my first trade for the technical setups section here for the newsletter. Okay, so there's a reason why I chose it as number one. And the next one that I want to go over is PDD. So this one was also a great swing trade, and it was actually an overnight swing trade, very, very quick. And I've actually told my private members this as well, that most likely from this point forward, we will need to focus on very, very quick entries and exits, whether it be for day trades or for swing trades. And especially for swing trades, the maximum time will most likely be a overnight swing trade. Okay, and I've given you guys the reasons why in the market summary, right? I went over why, right? Especially when we are starting to have an intermittent top forming in the markets, right? And so again, if you guys want to read this, okay, make sure you guys join the CFO Swing Watch newsletter and the private CFO Discord. And again, if you guys want to join, just DM me at chartsfocus1 on Instagram. And so for PDD, I said, this is a pretty popular Chinese name as well as it is focused on the retailer / e-commerce space. And as a tech name, with those regulatory crackdowns gone on the big tech Chinese names, the price action on Friday clearly showed that it was a laggard. And I love how it's been holding that daily 50 SMA, the dark blue line here. All right, you guys should be able to see it on your screen. And how it closed as an inside candlestick. With such tight price action, plus the current bullish optimism and environment, this one can see a resumption of its uptrend and possibly a short squeeze. Okay, and there's a clear weekly level at the whole number level 72. So this was our actual target because we got an early entry point. And I'll tell you guys why, and I'll show you guys on the chart. It was a perfect exit. And so if we can go over that, we can see PTs of $76, $80, and $82.20. Now the only problem with this name is that there's a large amount of supply overhead, so it would create some pretty bad rejections from major resistance levels or SMAs. And I'm glad I gave this information to my members, my private members, because again, I was able to help members navigate through with PDD swing, with the swing trade, and get out at 72 today. Okay, and the next one that we were looking at was SE. So I personally ended up not taking this one because I missed out on the entry point today. Actually, I'll show you guys soon from the CFO Discord channel. And again, I'm gonna give you guys the entire CFO Discord trade room channel. I'm giving you guys an entire sneak peek into the trade room, so make sure you guys stick around. And for the people who are just joining in, make sure you guys hit that like button down below. Let's try to get to 10 likes tonight, guys. 10 likes. All right, so again, for the people who are just joining in, I just went over the market summary and some of the names in the newsletter for this week. And again, this is the CFO Swing and Watch newsletter that I sent out to my private CFO members and students every single week on Sunday night. Okay, so if you guys want to read this newsletter in its entirety, make sure you guys join. Or if you guys just want to read the market summary, go ahead and take a look at the recording of this live stream once it is over. All right, so I start within I would say around the 2 to 3 minute mark of this video. All right, this live stream. All right, so SE was another great one. Okay, so I'm not gonna read over everything again, but I'm just gonna show you guys here so that if you guys are watching the recording, you guys can pause and read it. And then also NEO. This was an absolutely amazing move to the upside. All right, this Chinese EV name. All right, it is officially over the daily 200 SMA, which I mentioned here. Right, and I said the only big crux, not cruise, crux to the continuation to this uptrend is the daily 200 SMA, which is my yellow line as shown here on the chart. And so if we can break over that daily 200 SMA, we will definitely see another leg up higher in a short squeeze like move. All right, and I said PTs are 11.50 and $12. Now, let me show you guys the charts here that we just went over. So Roblox, all right, you guys should see already seen it on my Instagram profile, Instagram story. My members and students absolutely nailed the Roblox swing trade, right? So I personally got in yesterday here. Okay, we rolled up around 40.65-ish, I believe, is when the price was there when I was filled in. And we rolled all the way to the top. Obviously, we could have held until it hit 45. I personally went out around 44.20-ish. Okay, so, or actually, no, it wasn't 44.20-ish. What am I talking about? I think it was right underneath 44.50. Yeah, not 44.20. So Roblox did absolutely amazing. This is the reason why this was #1 in the newsletter. And then let's take a look at PDD. So if you guys remember, right? PDD. This is what I said. Right? I said the problem with this name is that there is a large amount of supply overhead, so it will create some pretty bad rejections from major resistance levels or SMAs. And so I told my members to get out for PDD right at 72, and look what happened. We rejected at 72, plus we rejected at that major 21 SMA, all right, this daily 21 SMA. So what I just said here was accurate advice, right? Pretty accurate advice here. All right, we will create some pretty bad rejections from major resistance levels or SMAs, right? And also, let me go into the Discord now. All right, this is what I said for Chinese names early on in the morning. Okay, here's what I said. All right, let me show you guys this. All right, I think I said it here somewhere. So I'll be showing you guys everything here, but right here. Take profits on any Asian company you guys may have. They're going to stall out here today. Either take half off at close or close it out for profits when you have this opportunity when we pump to the upside in early morning. Okay, and again, taking a close look at SE right now after yesterday's stupendous performance is also another kind of a shout out to the chart that I gave out on Sunday night for SE. Right, so PDD and SE were absolutely amazing. So for an update for SE here, guys, all right, it ended really well compared to the Chinese names. And again, SE tends to be thought of as a Chinese company, but it's not. They don't even operate there. All right, so SE actually is headquartered in Singapore. So it's a Singaporean company, not a Chinese company. A lot of people mistake that. Right? They mistake SE as a Chinese company, but it's a Singaporean company. Right? And they don't even operate in China. Okay, so this one was a bit more, I guess, bullish and had a lot more relative strength compared to the other Chinese names. And so it was able to kind of diverge away from the Chinese names as an individual Asian company. And so the stock was able to do pretty well today, and I'm most likely going to continue to watch this one as it's been able to break out of this nice falling wedge that I gave out in the newsletter again, right here. Right? And then lastly, NIO. Okay, I mentioned this yesterday to my members. Right, I mentioned NIO that my alerts went off at $10, and guess what happened? We squeezed to the upside along with every other EV names. If you guys remember on my Instagram story, I talked about all of this, right? About the EVs here, and so Chinese EV specifically was perfect for my newsletter because again, we were talking about Chinese names, right? And so Chinese, I said the long entry point was long over $10.10. And guess what happened? We saw a nice fat move to the upside. And now today, we got a nice back test at 10.50 and at the daily 200 SMA. And so NIO still has a lot of room to go. The RSI is showing a little bit of overbought, I guess a little bit of an overbought condition, but that does not mean that we're about to reject. That means that we're very, very strong and very, very bullish. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Is everyone following along? Hopefully you guys are following along. Okay. And again, there's another name that you guys can take a look at for the oil names, right? APA. This one had a great breakout on the base today, right? APA, absolutely smashing to the upside, right? Okay, so really, really nice move today on APA, as with most energy names today. And so if you guys were able to play any of the energy names, especially for my private members who are watching right now, right? APA was definitely a good setup heading into this new week, right? So here's a little update. Look at that. Amazing, amazing. And again, we got this absolutely correct that midsummer will be the place for energy, the entire energy sector. Right? Hey, Joe, thank you. Thumbs up, thumbs up. That's right. Let's hit that like button down below. Okay. And then Joel, let me show you CVX as well. Right? CVX, absolutely amazing move. Right? It's still basing out. We do have a level of resistance at 160.50. But we should be able to reach that as we start to see more bullish inflow of money into CVX. Okay, so a good short-term target will be 160.50. Right? Okay, so that is it for the review of the CFO Swing Watch. Hopefully you guys like that review. I gave you guys my entire view on what I send to my private members every single Sunday night. All right. Okay, and obviously, if there is a holiday, sometimes I won't send out a newsletter, and I'll actually just give you a very, very quick list of what we need to be looking at into the new trading week. But I give out these newsletters every single damn Sunday. All right, I do every research, everything for you guys, top to bottom. Right, market research, technical analysis research, fundamental research as well. Okay, so if you guys really want to join, let me know. Okay, just DM me at chartsfocus1. If you guys have already DM me, I'll reply back as soon as possible, right, and let you guys know what we can do from here. All right, but again, for all the people who are just joining in right now, all right, you guys can watch. Okay, you guys can always have the option to watch the recording to see what I told my private CFO members in the market summary. Okay, Joe, you said early entry then possible breakout for CVX since energy sector is going to be hot. Yes, definitely watch that tomorrow. Definitely. I believe energy will be kind of most likely not even care about CPI tomorrow. If we do gap down, we're probably going to see that gap down being bought up in the energy sector. Right, ERX did absolutely amazing today. XLE as well. Right, really nice breakout. Oxy too. Right, so every energy name had an absolutely amazing day with some very good overall volume too. Okay, so hopefully that was a great review of the CFO Swing and Watch. Now, let me show excuse me, guys. Woo! Something got stuck in my throat. Jeez. Sound like I was about to cry, right, guys? Now, let me go over what happened in the trade room. All right, so this is a great sneak peek here for you all. Okay, so hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button, especially for the people who might be watching the recording right now. So, now let me start off with yesterday's message. So, if you guys didn't see my my Instagram story, I posted this as well. But here's what I said. All right, I said, fun fact, I didn't take a single look at SPY today. Why? Well, I've been saying this since last year and early this year. Right, an example in the reply message above this one. So I sent this message in March, early March. All right. Okay. And I said, why? All right. Okay. And I've been saying this since last year and early this year that the market can stall out, be in a state of limbo, or pull back while individual names have no real care about the overall market. And this allows them to, and them meaning individual names, to run with great relative strength, which we have caught so far. I also gave you guys plenty of reasons how and why sector rotation and seasonality trends play in this constant flux of market motion. And you guys have just seen the CFO Swing and Watch market summary that showed the reasons why sector rotation and seasonality trends play in this constant flux of market motion. And I'm not going to show you guys the many more reasons that I gave out the past 2 weeks, okay? But that was kind of a great summary from this week's market summary of all the reasons why we were looking at sector rotation, seasonality trends, and even different asset classes and what we should be looking at for this month of July. All right. And so my next advice for you all is to look out for a market top for the month of July. Okay, so mid-July is when we start to see that topping out price action. Just letting you guys know now. So maybe you guys can use this information to build up a short position on SPY or even NASDAQ. Because why? I told you guys this already, and I showed you guys this from the market summary. As I said in the market summary, right? NASDAQ has been the leading market, all right? The tech sector, the overall tech sector. And so if that decides to overturn and decides to pull back, the rest of the market will follow along, all right? Okay, so that's kind of what I want to show you guys in the trade room here that I sent out last night. Now, let's start off with today. Okay, so one of my members, Nils here, awesome guy, okay? He's been tracking CRM with us, right, after he saw it in the newsletter. And so CRM had an absolutely amazing day today, right? We had a huge run up, right, overnight, and we opened up with a very large gap up, and then, right, we ended up pulling back a little bit, and then we bounced for the entire rest of the day after hitting that new low. Right? So Joel, he said buy the dip for this topping out. Yeah. So obviously, we want to make sure that we're not using seasonality trends as some sort of a leading indicator. It's just a seasonality trend that tends to happen. It might happen this year, it might not happen next year, but it's an overall average, right? And so if we do decide to top out in the month of July, in the mid-July to late July, and then we start to bottom out somewhere around September, or even maybe in August, who knows? Because again, seasonality trends are not leading indicators of anything, okay? We might be able to find the bottom, and we might be able to buy the bounce on the bottom somewhere around August and September, or even between September and October into quarter 4 of this year, okay? And so CRM, right? Absolutely flying in pre-market, right? And so the swing trade that we have for CRM hit really hard, right? So personally, I exited. That's all right. I had already so many positions that did well today. And so, CRM was absolutely just taking off, all right? And again, PDD, all right? We were swinging that since yesterday, and we took profits, as I said earlier, right? Because I said what? Take profits on any Asian company you guys may have. They're going to sell out here today. And I was correct, right? And so PDD was absolutely amazing. And INND was another extra swing trade that I never told you guys about to the public, but my private CFO members knew. And INND ended up breaking over 40.50, which is the maximum profit target for INND, all right? And so I was able to take profit on this today, around 40.52, but obviously I could have waited a little bit longer, but this one was absolutely amazing. I got in on this candlestick, right? So if you guys want to see the percentage, just from the underlying share price here, right? So almost 8% gain from where I entered, right? This is huge in just 3 days, right? And so this one is definitely another name that you guys should be looking out for. So hopefully all of these names that I'm reviewing for you guys should be giving you guys some sort of a trade idea going into the rest of this week, right? So make sure you guys read the description box down below. Okay. Let's go back. All right. And then PDD again, gapping up higher, nearly at $72 right before market open, right? Roblox obviously did absolutely amazing today. Okay, Path, right, as another chart pattern that I actually sent out to both my private and public members, okay, in this channel, CFO Trade Ideas. All right, so I sent this chart, Path, okay, on the first week of July, in the very, very short week of July, okay, this entire game plan, right, analysis, right, and so Path has been really doing well so far this week. Okay, I'm just gonna fly by these, but Path was able to break from this descending level of resistance or the overall descending channel. Okay, and we were 1 cent away from reaching $18 today. So I would consider this one to have reached $18, but if we are able to break over 18.15 specifically, we can get to $19 and eventually I want $20. All right, so I'm just flying by these names. All right, so if you guys want to pause, okay, make sure you guys are pausing on this video or the live stream, or if you guys are watching the recording, you guys can always pause. Okay. All right, so this is what happened today, right? Just absolutely amazing. Oh, and the net, right? I sent in this chart at 6:50 a.m. Right, and look what happened. Right, look what happened to NAT today. Right, net. Boom. Look at that. Huge move to the upside today. All right, and net still has room to move to 70 to 71. If you take a look at the weekly time frame, picture perfect weekly candlestick that's forming right now, right? It's a bullish engulfing candlestick, plus we've been making a flag, a nice bull flag after this horrible run down from earnings. right? And after that, we just completely bought it up, all the way up. And so with this consolidation, we formed this nice bull flag or bull pennant, if you guys want to be specific with your chart patterns. And if we're able to retest 71 again, specifically this level, we might see a breakout to the upside and potentially, finally, a nice break to the upside for the longer term, right? Since we've been seeing this name get battered in 2022, right? And obviously into this year as well, okay? But this year has been absolutely amazing, even though we had a little tiny hiccup with earnings, right? This is when this name was battered, but it was bought up right back up. And so that means you know that people are buying into this name. All right, so net, an amazing, amazing run today as well. All right, and I'm glad I sent out this chart today because it brought it to people's attention and to their watch lists. And look at this, my new student here. CRM. If you round up, that's 80%. Absolutely amazing. Right, and I sent in, actually not sent in, I actually posted on my Instagram story on all the gains that she had today. She had 4 swing trades that were in profit, right? And so, you know, it's one of those days where we were just definitely risk on for the week. We were ready to be risk on because of the navigation, right? And the guidance that I provided for my students and my private CFO members, right? So Lucid is over $8, right? And and one of my previous students, Chef Trader, my graduated student here, okay, he played Lucid from 0.20 to 0.42. That's a huge gain, right? And also very, very cheap contracts, which meant that he was able to buy a lot of more contracts than usual, which is what he did, right? So 0.20 to 0.42, absolutely amazing, right? PayPal went crazy, right? So if you guys want me to show you Lucid real quick, right? Lucid ended up staying over $8 for most of today, right? And I believe I mentioned Lucid around here on this candlestick, so yesterday, right? So this one absolutely blasted higher, right? Look at this, guys. I mean, you guys, if you guys want to pause the live stream, you guys can and just read all of this, right? But absolutely a fire day. And my new student here, right? She closed 3 trades in green today: PDD, CRM, and Roblox. Absolutely amazing, right? And guess what? I was constantly letting everyone know to de-risk and take profits today. Why? Because we have a very uncertain event coming out tomorrow, CPI data, right? For the month of June. And obviously, again, the markets are getting desensitized, but if we have contracts that are expiring this week or even next week, they will be sensitive to whatever move that comes overnight from CPI, which is the reason why I said de-risk and take profits today. All right. And Path, I mentioned Path, Roblox again, Target and Disney both exploded today as well. All right, once I mentioned it right before they even exploded. All right, so I mentioned it around here for Target, around 132.50, and Disney, when it was staying underneath, I think it was around 88.50, right? So, you know, today was just sniping every single name, all right? And getting everything on point. And again, the markets weren't really doing anything for most of the morning, okay? And we were still able to get amazing gains on individual names, right? And that's absolutely amazing to see that my members and my students were able to grab such amazing gains for the at such an early start of the week. Right? It's just only Tuesday. Oh, and this one as well. I have to post this too on my Instagram to let you guys know what's up. Okay. Nearly 200% on Roblox. Path again. Okay, and look what I said here. 2023 to 2026, right, is the years to be involved in the market. Right, those are the years. And I said market crash? Nah, we have a market run. I've been saying this since October lows and December lows. All right, I've been saying all of this since last year. Okay. All right, so this is basically what happened. All right, today. All right, basically what happened today. All right, we were just absolutely hitting trade after trade after trade. Okay. The market navigation and guidance that I've been giving you guys, show the love. I'm seeing a lot of people on FinTwit, which I did, mad and frustrated that the markets are volatile and they don't see anything worth trading, especially before CPI. But the trades and opportunities were there. I don't know what they're talking about. Right? So today we had just an absolutely amazing day. Okay, so Oxy again too, really good day, right? And one of my members, Amizel, she's absolutely amazing too. She's always catching some amazing short squeezes. All right, so this is an amazing name to look at too, RBLX, right? So as a summary, okay, we just had an amazing day. Again, we're focusing on energy plays from this point forward now, as we took a lot of profits on tech names and software names that are just blasting higher today. Okay, and so we had an absolutely amazing day today. That's the entire summary for Tuesday. Okay, so now, like I said in this message, what a great day. Let's get it for the rest of the week, and let's see what CPI brings us tomorrow. Okay, so guys, oh, and one last thing, right? This is a semi-pick that I sent out for everyone on my Instagram, on my newsletter, for my private members and public members as well on the Discord. I said the semi-picks for this year, GFS and ON, are looking really nice for the rest of the year. And guess what? ON has already doubled, or I think tripled, since the last time I mentioned it. All right, and so these picks are smart picks for a reason, right? We're following smart money. Okay, and so GFS and ON are very good specific examples. Right, let's take a look at ON. Right, looks absolutely amazing. Look at this, huge move to the upside, absolutely amazing move. And the GFS ready to even break out higher with this really nice candlestick today. Okay, so the moral of the story, guys, is that again, the market guidance, the analysis, the top to bottom analysis, the research that I do, right? It's all critical for your trading success. So if you guys are wanting to join, just DM me. Very simple. Just DM me on Instagram at ChartsFocus1, and I'll get to you as soon as possible, and we will start something for you. Okay. All right. So that is it for the live stream for tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this premium review, and make sure you guys read the description box down below. Okay. And if this was really helpful, make sure you guys hit that like button down below. A lot of people joined tonight, so thank you guys. And thank you guys so much for 6 likes. That's amazing. Let's try to get to 4 for 10 likes total. But if we don't, completely fine. I'm just letting you guys know that that's very helpful for the YouTube algorithm. But again, hopefully this is a great live stream and an eye-opener on what we do here at Charts Focus 1. All right, I will see you guys on Thursday at the same time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're back on the regular live streaming schedule. Okay, so good luck tomorrow, and hopefully whatever that you guys read on the market summary and whatever that you guys read on the CFO Discord, the private CFO Discord here that I'm showing you guys today. Okay, this is my first time doing this. Okay, helps you guys for the rest of the week. And if it did, make sure you guys let me know. DM me on Instagram or just come back to the recording of this live stream and comment down below. All right, have a great rest of your night, everyone, and good luck tomorrow.